Hey guys, Sean C. Phillips here with a new video series I'm just starting. Got a lot of requests for this. People ask me about the movies on Netflix, what are some of the best movies. And, I have a Netflix account, for Netflix streaming. Don't use it all the time. I'm more of a physical copy kind of person. I like to have the discs and things like that. But I occasionally get on there, and a lot of people have asked me, what are some of the best movies on there? And the ones that are definitely worth watching, so I don't have to search through it and, trying to, hit and miss and things like that. Well, basically I'm going to do these videos over the next couple months, and the first one I'm doing here is the best 80s horror films on Netflix. There's a decent amount on there, not a whole ton. A lot of the ones on there are good. There are, a good number of them, maybe 15 or so that I have never seen before. I haven't heard about, like some lesser known ones. But these are the ones that I would say are definitely must watch. The first one is Evil Dead, directed by Sam Raimi, starring Bruce Campbell. The first Evil Dead is a movie, the Cabin in the Woods movie about people going out in the cabin in the woods, the Necronomicon book, and releases the demons and, possessions and all that. Really fun film. And the new Evil Dead remake is out now, which I really did enjoy. It's got some, just recently it's getting some kind of mixed opinions, though, or just starting to come out, though, with people. But a lot of the critics, though, really like it, which is kind of funny. Some of the critics are really liking it, but the audiences aren't. Some of them, which is just kind of interesting, because it's usually the other way around. But, that's a must-see horror film. The next one is the Re-Animator film, and that's one that I really did like. Jeffrey Combs, and about, bringing back some of these ones I don't want to screw up the plots, because I don't have the disc here, so it's a little different. This is a new format for me to do it like this. But, Re-Animator, though, that's a very good one. Hellraiser, which is one that I really do like, which is a very creepy movie about, these centibites from hell, and there's all these weird images in this movie with, basically, though, a guy ends up finding the gateway to hell with this box, and he ends up being taken to hell, and in his house, the guy goes missing, and his family ends up moving into this house, because he's basically presumed dead, and in this house in the attic, he's sort of starting to come back, and it's all these creepy visuals and stuff. It's a very creepy, weird movie. The next one is a really good anthology horror film, and it's Creepshow 2. It's not as good as the first Creepshow, but there are some really fun segments in that. Like, I really love the segment on the raft, about a group of friends that are going out to the, swimming out in a lake. And it's one of those kind of areas where they're not really supposed to swim. So they go out there and swim onto the little pier in the middle of the lake. And there's some kind of a goo monster out there that if you touch it, it burns through your skin. It's just a really well done segment. The other segment on there, which is a really good one, is about one of the Indians out front of a store, like the old wooden Indians, and kind of what this Indian ends up doing, to get revenge. Another cool one. There's another classic one on there is Children of the Corn. That's one, if you haven't seen, although it does have some mixed reviews. I've heard a lot of people say they didn't absolutely love the movie. They've made a lot of sequels to it. They've made a TV remake of it. And they made a new one just recently, another one. But like I said, there's been tons of sequels to this. And then, like I said, the TV remake. It's about a couple that end up going out on a trip and end up going through an old town where something has happened to all the adults. And all the town is overrun by kids and teenagers that are out in the corn and worshiping a corn god. And just a really good one if you haven't seen it. But like I said, not absolutely a perfect movie, but a fun movie. The next one is a really fun, cheesy B movie, which I really like, called Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's from the Chito brothers, and they did did a lot of effects work on the turtles and the turtle films and that kind of stuff. And it's kind of a spoof of the Blob, and it's about a circus tent of alien clowns that land on the planet. And they end up killing people and turning them into cotton candy so they can drink them. And there's a lot of cool character actors in it. The one character actor who's in the Ghoulies 2, the cool old guy, he's in the beginning of it. It's about a group of people trying to, tell everybody about it, and they don't believe it. Like I said, it's very much like The Blob. The next one was a really fun 80s film, which I have a feeling one of these days is end up getting remade. And I always do wish they would have made a sequel to this. And it's Night of the Comet. And this one, if you have not watched this, is a definite, like a top of the line, definitely go and watch this one. It's a 80s horror film, 80s horror science fiction film about everybody that went and looked at this big comet that was coming ends up turning to dust and dying. Or turning to dust or becoming kind of like a zombie in between, if you had like a little bit of exposure. And it's about the two sisters that end up, in certain circumstances so they don't end up getting affected, and meeting this guy and them trying to survive in this world. And it's a real fun movie with them kind of screwing around in the world and like shooting guns, and it's just a really fun movie with great music, great 80s music. The next one, I haven't watched this one in a while, and they made a couple sequels to this as well. The second was okay, had Bill Maher in it. He actually did act in some movies, and it's called House, and it's about like this creepy house, and don't remember too much about it, but I remembered really liking it. The next one is The Stuff, has a really great theme song in it. It's about this kind of pudding, like this kind of yogurt thing that comes out of the ground. And anybody that eats it, and it kind of becomes marketed and kills people, and it's very gross, creepy, weird film. The next one, Prince of Darkness, is kind of a lesser talked about John Carpenter movie, and Alice Cooper's in it. It's all like in a church, and just a really weird one. The next one, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer with Michael Rooker, and best known now from The Walking Dead. I always thought of him from this and from Mallrats as the one girl's father and the one guy who was running the game show. But Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer is kind of one of the a real early movie, about like serial killers, and it's following around the guy. He's basically wanting to make a movie filming the character killing these women and killing people, and it's a very well done serial killer film. The next one, and this movie, a lot of people say, some people say they like it better than the first Friday the 13th film, and it is pretty much a tie. It is a very well done movie, very good cast. There's some big names in it. Jason Alexander is in it, the one guy from Fast and Furious High you would recognize. There's just a bunch of different people in this one, but it's The Burning, and The Burning is about a group of kids in the beginning of the movie end up killing this guy. Well, they end up lighting him on fire by accident, or he gets caught on fire, gets burnt beyond belief, and is hospitalized for years. Ends up coming back to the camp. He ends up escaping from the hospital, waking up from the coma, and coming back to this camp and killing everybody. Some great death scenes in it. Great scene on a raft. Jason Alexander is very, I really liked him in this movie. The next one is Pet Sematary, and this one was the best part about this was Fred Gwynne, from the Munsters, who played Herman Munster. Well, he was in this as the neighbor, going, don't let him go out in the road. But it's about a group of it's a new family that moves into a new home, and it's on this really busy. Well, it's not really a busy highway, but it's kind of a road where people are driving on it way too fast, and it's very dangerous. It's the kind of ones where, animals and always would get injured and hurt on it. Just a very kind of a country road where people go too fast. And their kid ends up getting killed in the road. And Fred Gwynne had told them early in the movie about this Indian burial ground in the backyard where if you bury anybody, they say the person will come back to life. And I'm just going to leave it at that on what happens. The next one is a George Romero movie, which you don't hear people talk too much about. It's a very different movie for him, and it was Monkey Shines. And it's about a guy who becomes paralyzed in an accident and ends up getting a helping monkey who... And they kind of did this in the 80s and stuff, these kind of things. I don't know if they do them anymore, but the monkey would help you get things, would turn the TV, you could train it to brush your teeth, you could basically train it to do everything that you needed to do in the day. So you basically had company, but things go very wrong with this monkey. The next one is Silver Bullet, and this has, it's a Corey Haim film when he was very young, and Gary Busey is in it, and the guy from Twin Peaks and the guy who played Daddy in People Under the Stairs, he's in it as a very creepy priest in the movie. But it's a werewolf film about Corey Haim and, you know, trying to stop this werewolf. It's very well done and not talked about that much. The next one is a Wes Craven film, Deadly Blessing. Great movie about like an Amish, you know, community and the things that have gone wrong in this community. And Michael Berryman is in it. Very cool music. The guy who narrates it is the guy you hear in a lot of the trailers. I don't think he did too many movie narrations. He did a lot of, you know, trailers and things like that. But his voice you know right away. His voice was in Captain EO. The next one, American Werewolf in London, you know, a classic one. Everybody knows about that, and it's really well known too for the werewolf transformation scene in that. And these ones are really fun movies. Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. You know, they're not the absolute greatest films, but when it comes to like slasher films, you know, and kind of really fun, over-the-top slasher films, I always think of them. It's about a girl who's in the first film coming back to this camp and coming in there as a camp counselor and killing off the campers. And she's played in this one by Pamela Springsteen, who's Bruce Springsteen's sister. And she never really did any more movies after these, but she was very good in them. I wish she would have done more stuff. I have a couple other ones which are definitely worth checking out as well. Not like absolutely amazing, but I really do like them. The Toxic Avenger, which is a classic trauma film, you know, about a guy who ends up falling into radioactive waste and becomes a Toxic Avenger. The Initiation is a fun one on there. Really fun too because it has a cool scene at this kind of weird mall in it. A lot of it takes place in it. Mountaintop Motel Massacre. This is one that's really pretty bad. But it's really weird about this old woman in this hotel, and it's just all these stuff of her crawling underneath the hotel rooms, from going from hotel to hotel, and it's just creepy, the idea that there are these kind of hidden compartments under the room, so she can go as she pleases and kill people from these rooms. And the last one is a really fun movie. Glenn Shaddix is in it, you know, stars Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Like I said, not one of those movies that's absolutely amazing, but a really fun one. But anyway, though, definitely look forward to hearing what you guys think of this series. I'm going to try and do, like, 90s horror, 80s comedy, 90s comedy, and, like I said, TV shows. See how this goes. My favorite videos to do are, of course, the DVD and Blu-ray updates. But since I got so many suggestions to do this, I figured I would try this out. And I'm going to think about any other type of Netflix things I can do. Maybe, like, the best movies of the month or something like that, you know. But anyway, though, thanks a lot for watching and for subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.